There are many avenues that you can find to engage in professional learning. The easiest ones are here provided by the school, so through staff meetings, through staff development days. You've also got your KLA meetings, also resources that you might have created. All those can be logged in as teacher identified learning.
I've also engaged in some courses outside of school. Some of them have been online courses, which have been fairly easy to do in my own time, and some of them have been official courses outside.
Professional readings, workshops, collegial conversations.
Connecting to online platforms such as Twitter and Google+, that's allowed me to do a lot of reading and use that to help improve the learning in the classroom. Other courses outside of school that are not institute registered, you can actually engage in those. So for example, I did a course on flipped learning, which is all online, which was not institute registered, and so I was able to log plenty of hours through that course. Having meetings with other colleagues, professional conversations, and obviously noting that down and keeping a record of that.
The hours of learning, it can creep up over time, but if you keep a constant lookout on opportunities to register for teacher identified as well as the registered workshops, then you can keep on top of it fairly easily.
I tend to do a lot of professional reading, which I then record the information and then try to apply it in the classroom.
Yeah, so 50 hours over the 5 years is very doable.
Use is that if I do any professional learning, whether it be teacher identified or institute registered, I tend to record it immediately on the NESA website.
I find the easiest way is to at least log in on the Institute of Teachers website every term and then update all those learning and make sure that you're understanding where you're at.
So if you go to that website, log in and record it straight away, then it's done. You link it to the standards, and so that keeps the record for you. I think for most teachers, you'll probably need to have a process to organise your professional reading and other things that you do, conversations, a process of recording it, documenting, so then you can go and log it at some point in time.
Okay, the first place, of course, would be at the actual school. So here at Cerdon, we have our staff development days, we have our staff meetings, so make sure you sign on for those.
Courses that are offered through your professional association. I know with PDHPE, the professional association is ACHPA, and they offer plenty of courses that I could do, so there's plenty of chances there.
You've also got the Institute of Teachers. You can go onto their workshops and then do a search function which gives you dates, locations, and also the standards they fulfill.
And there's also the CEDP professional learning portal as well, where you can go in and have a look at the courses on offer there.
You can also sign up to regular email updates from the IEU or perhaps some universities and institutions. They can also forward you some information. The challenge would be to find sufficient hours in the registered learning. Obviously, you will have to keep a lookout on the workshops that are available.
In 5 years, I didn't find it difficult at all. I found that within the first 2 years of my maintenance cycle, I'm currently in my second maintenance cycle at the moment, that I was able to satisfy most of the professional learning within 2 to 2.5 years. You could very easily complete the professional learning here at school and maybe do 1 or 2 things or maybe 3 things outside of school, and that would easily get you to the 100 hours. So no, it's not difficult at all.
The important thing is not to leave it too late in the 5-year cycle. So make sure that you actually look for it early and get those hours on board. Otherwise, there's a big rush towards the end to get those hours. Best thing is just to share information. So if you come across something via email or you just heard on a grapevine, just share it with other teachers and they can register for it.
There's also a lot of online courses that you could do If you're looking for teacher identified courses, you could use lynda.com, which would allow you to complete a course online in your own time, and that would satisfy some teacher identified.
One example is the IEU. Those spots get filled up very quickly, but when you go there, they look after you. They cover quite a few standards.
Seek out opportunities through your professional association. Keep doing professional reading to try and satisfy as many teacher identified hours as you can.
The report writing process is all online now, and essentially you'll just have to write a summary of what you've learned for the 7 standards, and it requires only a limited amount of characters.
It's more like a paragraph for each standard, and you really just have to write specific examples of how you've met those standards.
You have to show evidence that you've applied the learning and over the 5 years into your classroom practice.
So the process really has had a difference in the classroom, I believe. I think in the last few years since completing the PLP, I've actually created a goal which is linked to the students' needs, and I've been able to target my professional learning to the goal.
I found it as a great opportunity to access the wider community, to talk to scientists who are practicing, and to find out the latest information in terms of my content that I deliver. So students can see it from a different perspective, and they can also learn from professionals outside other than myself. This can actually improve my knowledge as well as the student responses that they put together, which is actually one of my personal learning goals.
My professional learning is linked to student needs. So the last few years I've really been focusing on critical thinking and problem solving, and a lot of my professional learning, my professional reading, my conversations with staff at school and so on has been revolved around that. So I think it really has had an impact on my teaching and therefore the learning of the student. I think as teachers we really have a big opportunity here to use this process to help us to create goals that are specific to the learning needs and then link our professional learning to it so that we're having the biggest impact in the classroom.
All in all, it's a hand-in-hand process where both your learning as well as your delivery as well as your learning goals are linked together.